Alrighty, folks. It's, what do we got? It's got to be pushing 10 o'clock tonight. 10 minutes of 10. Alright, so I can, 15 minutes, 5 after. Alright, folks, I got something to show you. I got a little project going on. So this is one of the new, I got several Les Pauls, Epiphones, inspired by Gibson Custom Shop. So this one is a, bourbon burst, and it's got a like really killer top on it. I don't know if it'll show in the camera. And I'm like, geez, see the black up in the burst? It's too bad that, you know, you can't see the wood like you can down here. So I took a flashlight and flashed it on there, and this is what's underneath the black. See, I hope it shows up in the camera. I'm gonna be sounding like an idiot. It's a killer flame top. I just hand sanded this just for the heck of it because I saw the flame underneath the black. And I'm going to do the same thing I did to one of my other ones because it's got a cool top on it. This thing is killer. You should see it in person. And so I just hand sanded with 400, cut the old strings off, took this pickup out, flipped it back out, and I had, you know, sanded with 400. Just cut sheets into small squares that I could fold in quarters, taped my thumb because I started wearing through it, and just sanded in circular motions, no chemicals, just sanded off the color. All this is clear coat, the original sealed coat, and that's what I want to do to the whole guitar. But I just wanted to confirm for myself, look at that, it's so killer. I don't want the black on here, so I'm going to get a lemon dye and I'm going to make it a lemon burst. So now that I got this on, I'm going to do a little lesson. So that's what's the little project. I love screwing around with these guitars. I've changed the names on over a half a dozen of them, put the Gibson name. Big time project. I just dared to do it. Why? Because I wanted to. You know, 71 years old, long retired. It gives me something to do. But when I looked at that thing, like I said, I turned the gain way down. I'm going to turn it up. With a flashlight in there, that flame that's out here goes all the way up, flawless. So there we go. This thing's going to be killer when I'm done. So let's do, while I got this on, and I haven't been playing, obviously. I spent a couple hours just doing that. You know, being careful to not, you know, go anywhere near the wood. Same with the last one. I never went anywhere near the veneer. The whole original clear coat on that other guitar is still all there intact. And I sanded it really good, got it nice and even and nice, and gave it a couple more coats of just clear urethane. Alright, so here's a good lesson for you guitar players to be creative. A good way to practice and to up your melodies, create melodies. Take a one chord track either off of YouTube, we'll use A for an example to keep it simple. Find one chord, or maybe two, something like. Alright, I'm going to be sloppy because I haven't played all day. Or just. Major. Make sure it's major, not just a power chord. And then take your F sharp minor pentatonic, which is an A major pentatonic, and learn it on the whole fretboard. That's what I always talk about in most of my videos, is learn whatever it is on the entire fretboard in that one key. So if you play that, or if you got a looping machine, just loop it in. And if you got a drum beat and you want to have it at a certain beat, that's good. Or just, and then practice playing to it. and use your pure A major scale. That's not the only thing. There's many other things you could play to that one chord, but I'm just trying to keep it simple. Master, or at least get really good at these each single thing, you know. So the A major pentatonic is F sharp. And then if you want to do like Mixolydian or the pure major scale. So work on that, and like anything you work on, don't just focus on the minor side of it. Do the major side of it too. Then also work on an A minor, like, you know, whatever. Just find a track that's just, or loop one yourself into your machine. And then sit with that and just see how much you can play to it and not play the same thing all the time. Unless you come up with a cool little phrase that you want to repeat. So then do the A minor. Now that could be, you could use a power chord and play both major and minor if you just had a power chord. Just the 1, the 5, and the 1. Where? No, where am I? I had to do that because of that chord. Anyway, so, you know, practice both your major and your minor. So if you did either loop yourself a power chord, just a... Now you can play actually all 7 modes to that one chord, but that'll give you, you know, it'll help you have to stretch your imagination out, you know. So, and if you learn your full scales, you know, like an A major, for example. And this is only one of 100 things you could do to that power chord. So there you go. So you could do A Mixolydian to that, or A blue. And go to all the blocks of the whatever one you're doing, whether it's the minor or the major. You know, don't just stay in one spot. Now again, I ain't warmed up. I don't even know what I was going to play. I wanted to, the big reason why I did the video, so I wanted to show you what I'm doing to this guitar. Now, I always pick the best ones at Sweetwater. The most killer one with the best weight that they offer in that particular model. These run heavy. This is 9 even. Most of them run 9.5, 9.5, 9.6. I've seen a couple on there for 10 pounds, 1 ounce. But the tops on them, there ain't been any that I've seen yet that came close to this one. When I saw it, I had to call them right away. This is several months back. And but again, the black on this is hiding the killer wood. So when this is a lemon burst, it's going to be just awesome. And it's got all Gibson Custom Shop guts, not Gibson USA, Gibson Custom Shop. What I liked about sanding this, just standing there with little square papers, took a couple hours, and just circle motions, wear the paper out, fold it, little squares, and I cut them so that I could fold them in quarters. So I got about 10 pieces out of a sheet like that, you know, to work with, and just use them up, fold them, and get that, and just until that way I'm not going to go too far. If you start using machinery on these, what I was thrilled about is there ain't much finish on here to get to that clear, you know. What takes time is just, you know, because the way I'm doing it now, if I used a car polisher, I could go, but if you go too far, you ruin the top. If you go into the veneer and it just scuffs at enough, that flame is thin. So I'm doing it this way. Maybe tomorrow I'll do another little section, and then I'll wait a couple days, and whenever I feel like it. So anyways, there you go. The minor, take a chord, do it in any chord you want, you know, E. Now, E major pentatonic is also C sharp minor pentatonic. So if you... Now I gotta think, it's major. So master your pentatonic. If you just do it in one key, a key you like, decide whether you want a major, because if you wanted A major, it's an F sharp minor pentatonic. That you learn that on the whole fretboard, and you just play 8A or whatever you want to do, whatever you want it to sound like. And if you want A minor, then that's C major. A minor pentatonic's also C major pentatonic. But if you took one key, say the A minor, which is also C major, and just got that down on all the blocks, and then you paid enough attention to it, did it a couple thousand times, and you go, and then you go to the next one, and over time you'll realize you'll get the shape of it in. You'll remember the shapes from the number one block to the next. The third block is always in any key, any minor pentatonic, the third block is always like a step over. In a minor key, if you start with the root, in this case A, the second block is, the third block is always a step over one. See what I did? So what happened with me when I started working on them, there's only 5 different block shapes. And I started realizing that, and that helped me learn quick. I went, oh, that third shape's the step over one. And the one just before it in A minor is a sandwich shape. In other words, middle finger, baby finger, then first finger, baby finger, and then the high 2 strings are middle finger, baby finger. So it's like a sandwich. This is the middle. These are the 2 ends. So right away, within a week, when I was starting to sit down and work them to get them really in me, I noticed that from the first one, you know, that in the one coming up just before the first one is a sandwich shape, and that's what I call it. And the third one's a step over. So right away I got strong at those 3, and the ones in between, it took me a little bit. But I played them so much now, they're not a problem anymore. Or this one. What Now that's not an E minor pentatonic, it's an A minor pentatonic. The only difference is on the A minor, it's a C note. That. It's just that C note, and the E minor one is a B note instead of a C. That's the only difference between A minor and E minor. Alright, I don't want to go over 15 minutes. So, coming up, folks, this will be a killer lemon verse at some point, maybe a couple weeks down the road or whatever. All right, have a good evening. Keep on rocking.